Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Thursday, September 19th, 2019. A really very pretty date numerically. In both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as those souls are already living by the many rules already given to the search for truth community by wiser minds above all of us. You may have noticed we're continuing our theme of filming in a cloud of love bugs.
That's true.
And we've been working as a collective. Somebody asks, what have we come up with so far as to the answer of the love bug message? And we can think of at least two messages that are significant. And one is that the last 3 love bug seasons have been getting progressively worse and worse and worse.
That's true.
And the consensus seems to be that nobody around here has ever seen love bugs this bad.
Yep.
And we think it's probably climate change related. That's one level of message. We do not believe that to be the most important level of message. We believe the most important level of the message has to do with the clouds of the dead that are everywhere, the astral dimensions, which consist of dead people of varying levels of intention and awareness. That the astrals are collapsing and the dead are right around the living, commingled in such a way as to create a lot of confusion and difficulty.
That's true.
And we think that that's the message of the love bugs. And it's interesting because somebody keeps talking about the Black Death because they're representing dead presences, and they're black, and lots of references to the Black Death, and we don't know what that means, but we do know that we hear it.
That's true.
For whom is the message, and why do you ask? Oh, and somebody's pointing out how distracting it is to attempt to channel messages sitting in a cloud of love bugs when one is averse to inhaling love bugs.
That's true.
Hold up your hand if you're averse to inhaling love bugs. I don't want to do it.
No, thank you.
But if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. It's not okay to not sit where we're supposed to sit and do the job that's assigned to us. And obviously we don't want to inhale a love bug, but that's not the biggest tragedy.
That's true.
In an era when our species is literally murdering life on Earth. There's one projection that literally says, and this is a projection by credentialed climate change scientists being published in peer-reviewed journals, and there's one conclusion that says, given all the data that they have collected, the data suggests that there's going to be a temperature spike of up to 18 degrees, and that's enough to extinguish all life on Earth. That's what they concluded. This is in a peer-reviewed journal. What about it, guys? Is that sufficient for our progress with the message of the love bugs? Is it sufficient for now?
I don't hear anything.
No, and I feel that pulling up and opening feeling that typically means, yes, move on, hurry, you're irritating me with your stupid slowness.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so we know that we have this assignment to increase updraft through the astrals to scale, to do it on a large enough scale to actually have an impact on the dimension planet combo pack.
That's true.
And that we have been completely unsuccessful in doing it to scale. We've been successful in creating updraft on a small scale for ourselves and our clients and sometimes our farm.
That's true.
Our tiny farm. But to scale, not at all. We're not successful. But we would like very much to be of service in an effort, an interdimensional effort to increase astral updraft or updraft through the astrals.
That's true.
How can we do that? How can we be of service to increase updraft through the astrals? They keep talking about the Black Death.
Yeah, they do.
And how the love bugs are black, and that they represent souls of the dead, the
That's
Black
true.
Death. I can tell that they're talking about the Black Death. What is it? What is it, friends? What is it about the Black Death? And the plague.
Yeah. I don't understand.
I'm sorry. I know we're being stupid.
I know, I can tell that.
Viewers, if you can tell what the message is about the Black Death, or if you have a guess, place your bets, place your guess. Write in by YouTube comment, or if you'd prefer by email, that's fine. Go to our website, which is posted underneath every single video, lightworkersmethod.com.
It's true.
And through the contact facility, send us an email. And place your bets. What does this message represent? Because maybe it's obvious and we're just not seeing it.
That's true.
But they keep pointing to the bugs.
The bugs.
Black Death. And they're saying the bugs, it's like they're nodding yes. They represent
Yes.
dead people, yes. And what color are they? They're black.
Black.
That's right. Black Death. Do you get it? So if anybody has a guess on what that means, Black Death, do you get it? Shout it out for all the cinema to hear, which is, I think, a Monty Python reference.
I think so.
But it means, please don't keep it quiet. Feel free to write by YouTube comment or obviously by email. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I know that I'm supposed to get it.
Black Death, let's try again.
Well, okay, I'm going to have to start just talking about what I know about the Black Death.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really big plague, and it happened in Europe, and a lot of people died, and presumably left their bodies. And I don't know how fast the death was. I don't know how long you'd know you were sick before you were out of your body.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know how well they were aware of if they died or not. And I think about all the haunted places in Europe.
Lots of haunted places.
And now someone's kind of on a roll, and they're doing the hand. Talking about a lot of ghosts, a lot of out-of-body presences.
Yes, quick deaths create confusion in the decedent, and they don't know they're dead.
They don't see it coming.
No, they just don't realize, oh, wait a minute, I think I just died.
I can follow that.
It needs to be a little bit longer for most people to really come to the conclusion that they're actually dead.
They're talking about plagues.
But they're also talking about how determined some people are to deny the reality of death.
Yes,
that
that's
even
what they're
if they're
talking
bedridden for years, they're pointing to now, it looks like examples of humans who were bedridden for many, 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 many years and eventually gave up that struggle and just went with the flow and said, oh, okay, let's get out of here. And that they still didn't acknowledge they were dead.
That's true.
Which I think is a valid point. For whom is the message, and why do you ask?
And how can we be of service to increase the astral updraft?
On a mass scale, for the entire Dimension Planet Combo Pack. Somebody up there would really have to want for it to happen. Or in the earth, like compressing a bellows pump or something
true.
in the earth. Like someone really, really, really big.
That's true.
And then we can somehow be of service. Do you hear anything?
No.
I don't hear anything. We also have a question that came in by email.
That's true.
And we obviously have our search for truth rules that we haven't completed. But last time we cleared the room with that.
Upstairs.
So we acknowledge that we've made it through something like number 9,
I think.
and that there's at least 4 more that have already been committed to paper. And the next item, item 10, starts with, this is a big job. Be useful in every moment. Waste nothing.
That's true.
Not time, not money, not focus, not energy. Use all resources to create worlds that work in all dimensions. See, look, now they're leaving the room.
Yep, upstairs.
All right, so we're not going to do that.
But we do have an emailed question.
Okay. So we'll correct the error of doing something that caused us to be deemed offensive to work with. And we know humans who really are offensive to work with.
That's true.
They're combative, and they don't mind saying things that are completely untrue as long as it supports their position. They're just trying to win. They're grumpy. We don't like working with those people. And we know that our attention is brought to those people so we can see how we look to wiser minds above all of us.
That's true.
Not just us as individuals, but as a collective, as a species. And also each of us as individuals. When the wiser minds above are saying, now, do this thing. And instead of doing that thing, we do anything else. And that's the foundational choice in any moment, to do what we're supposed to do, when we're supposed to do it, the way in which we're supposed to do it, or do anything else. And if we do anything else, then we're unpleasant for them to work with. And we really do need to remember that we don't have any bargaining power.
That's true.
And that host lives don't even have legal standing under divine law, and
That's
that
true.
it's only the souls who are protected, which is fine.
That's
and that
true.
in the olden days, quote unquote, which is before the complete disconnect that's happened in the last 5 or 10 years, before then the souls were supposed to protect the bodies, but now the souls are actually unable to hold on to bodies. It seems
true.
Extremely difficult, and the only thing that's successful is if the body is gripping the soul and the soul is gripping the body and in a fireman's hold, and then if one loses its grip on the other, there's a chance of reestablishing the hold before it's completely
all
broken.
Lost. That's right.
Maybe this is tied into Aiden's question.
Maybe. So we have an emailed question from a viewer named Aiden.
And would it be okay if we read it to you and you guys decide if you're ready to entertain the question or if you want to entertain the question? Would that be okay? It's okay.
It feels okay so far. And the subject of the email is Inquiry for Truth. And he says, hello, my name is Aiden, and I have been an adamant and frequent participant in the Lightworkers Healing Method practices. And this is to you upstairs. I have enjoyed Lynn and Jamie's videos more than many will ever understand. I'm emailing you today in hopes of receiving a copy of the tentative list of rules set forth by those of wiser minds above.
We can do that.
Yeah,
We can
that's
send
right.
that to you. No big deal.
He's referring to the Search for Truth rules.
Search for Truth rules.
That this community should live wholeheartedly by. I did not realize that this list was available by email, otherwise I would and should have asked for a copy many months ago. And rock on, Aiden. And then Aiden says, also, I had a question for the godly presences, and here's his question. What is the best way that a young person who is interested in communing with divinity can further develop their psychic and spiritual gifts in order to more clearly discern between the words of wiser minds above and guardian angels and those of astral fakers? And then he does finish, thank you for your time and your continual devotion to angelic practices, and I hope to soon see my, quote, message in the bowl. Which is great.
Beyond that, because it's an email message,
That's
and
right.
email
You
messages
get a
go on the
clipboard.
clipboard. They will entertain this question.
That feels true. I
And-
feel presences.
And they're pointing to Ben, the friend who attended Harvard Divinity School.
Yes.
And what a beautiful spirit he was.
Yeah.
Before he entered Harvard Divinity School, how clear and light and truly interested in a relationship with the divine.
That's right.
A true, we would say a true seeker
Yeah, I
of
think
the
that's
divine. And then he entered Harvard Divinity School, which we think is actually the best of the best in terms of traditional education in theology.
That's true.
And he started to change and become different than he was, and not in a good way.
That's true.
And to lose that clear brightness that had made him so special. And we found that sad and almost disturbing, really.
That's true.
It's like, oh my gosh, then where can you go? Look at all the bugs on the camera.
And I don't know if the camera
like
can see this. I think this is behind you.
Oh,
your body.
delightful.
But
Can you see
that-
it? That's what the
there
camera
we
looks
go.
like. The camera looks like
like
that.
this.
Oh my gosh.
They're just swarming. They're swarming.
This must be A, tied to climate change, and B, a strong message about how important it is to deal with the clouds of the dead, i.e. the astral dimensions.
That's true.
So this question is very relevant because
Right?
the astrals are crawling with presences who pretend to be God, like they go to the eye party upstairs and buy their
Exactly.
cheap God suit and their cheap beard, and once you get your psychic skills going, you can see, well, your beard's falling off.
That's
like
true.
You can see the rubber bands or elastic or whatever, and they keep hiking up. It's like there's a robe, and then underneath it, their jeans are hanging out.
Exactly.
It's like, this is so obviously fraudulent, but people don't seem to notice it.
Oh, that's true.
And then we watch humans of this density listening to those dead people. It's like, well, you're listening to a fraud, quite obviously, because if they were legitimate in whatever they were doing, they wouldn't be wearing a costume.
Yeah.
So Aiden's question is very important.
Yeah.
Help us hear what to say to Aiden. I can hear somebody in another office, kind of like down the hall, that seems to be aware of the conversation, like maybe it's piped in through an audio system or something, and they're saying to, like, the office mate. It's like two unimportant people talking to each other.
Yeah.
Upstairs, who are in that same arena where the godly presences work. And they're saying, oh, you know what? It does kind of look like a spaceship-y kind of thing, a really big transport.
That's true.
Like a starship. You know how we used to see them?
Yeah, I do.
The starships. This might be somebody in a starship. This whole thing might be a starship. Now, if we start to look at it, we can see it is actually an enormous transport. That's
in
very
a higher
interesting.
dimension.
Thank you, yes. Thank you. All right, we're going to start talking about it and see if we can figure out what's going on, and we might have to back up and correct ourselves, and we'll try and cut those segments so we don't mess you up. But possibly what we've seen is a group of high vibration presences coming into the contaminated zone, and they're coming in en masse.
That's true.
In the hopes that they'll be able to maintain some awareness for at least a day, is what they said.
That's what they
for
said.
At least a day. Okay. And the two people, presences that have come in this spaceship, two of them who are obviously not important. The important people are in that room that we're connected with, but we can hear what those people down the hall are saying.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're saying you just have to go with game theory. And they're pointing to that one that we did in front of the solar panels, where there was instruction on how to live the soul plan.
That's right.
And
which was also a question by Aiden, we believe.
Oh, interesting. So you're going to have to be following those guidelines that were given in that other talk in order to stand a chance of hearing the voices that you want to be listening to.
That's true.
Because if you're not following that instruction or those instructions, then you're running away from the vibration that is the vibration you actually want to be listening to.
That's true.
So first things first, you've got to be following that advice. That's what those two people were talking about.
That's true.
Anybody else?